Since a fella and his wife started this here YouTube channel, well, a little over a year ago now, we've gotten all sorts of questions about our Coleman 17B travel trailer. Well, today we're going to share with you the top 10 questions we get asked all the time, and hopefully by the end of the video, be able to shed a little more light inside the old Coleman here. Welcome back to the Camping Loop. Now, you know me, I don't have a bunch of camera batteries, so let's not waste any time. Jump right into this with number 10, which is, do you need a weight distribution hitch to tow this camper? Well, that depends. If you have a trailer like ours that's a bit on the lighter side, the weight distribution hitch might be one of those things that you throw into the old, might be nice to have someday pile. But if you have anything heavier, I would definitely recommend it. Now, yes, we do use a weight distribution hitch along with sway bars, really just for peace of mind. There's something to be said about being able to travel down the highway at 65 and not have to worry about the trailer swaying back and forth all over the road like you've been drinking all day. The setup we have, it was a couple $100, again, for peace of mind. Somebody traveling new that maybe isn't experienced towing things, I'd certainly recommend it. If you have anything heavier than where we're at, again, something to think about. But if you do have one of these lighter, smaller travel trailers under 3,000 pounds, it's absolutely not necessary. Question number 9. Can this be towed by a light truck or a small SUV? Well, my answer to that is always going to be the same, and that depends. One of the nicest features about the Coleman 17B is that it's lightweight. It's easy to tow. Just under 3,000 pounds dry, as a matter of fact. Now, most small SUVs or lighter pickup trucks can handle about 3,500 pounds if they're properly equipped. But before you run off to the dealership to spend your life savings, there's certainly other factors to consider, like payload capacity. What are you carrying inside the rig? What are you carrying inside your tow vehicle? Do you have propane, water, and a battery hooked up? Now, obviously, always check your vehicle owner manual for what your particular vehicle is capable of towing and carrying. And don't rely on the dealership. Those guys are trying to make a sale, and all they're going to fill you in on is what your towing capacity may be. They're not taking into other considerations, again, like payload, what you're carrying, how many people are in the vehicle, tongue weight, things of that nature. Now, number 8, what size spare tire do I need? Well, that's a very common question, probably because these things don't come with one. I know, I get it. Being the cheapest bunkhouse travel trailer on the market, I completely understand that some cuts got to be made, but the spare tire, really? Come on. Anyway, the tire size is a 215/75/14 on a 5x4.5 bolt pattern. Matter of fact, we have a whole video down in the description below that shows you guys how we mounted a spare tire holder on the back of the bumper. We picked it up at Harbor Freight a few years back. I know it was under $20. The spare tire is actually one of the originals that came on that, and we'll get to that in just a second on one of the other questions we have. But make sure you guys check that out. It's a cheap, easy way to carry one of these spares. You're definitely going to need one if you own one of these campers. It's not something that you want to be stuck without. And that brings us to our next question we get asked all the time. Number 7, where did you guys get your tire and wheel upgrade? Well, the answer to that, and most of the things on this camper, is from the website eTrailer. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it. Unfortunately, the wheels that we have now have been discontinued, but they got a bunch of new styles on there, kind of the same price point. One of the things we definitely would recommend is upgrading the cheaper tires that come on these. We've actually heard some horror stories that they come with load range C, which really isn't even enough to support the weight of the camper. So one of the first things we did, and you can find it in our upgrade video below, is the tires and wheel package. It looks better, it's lighter weight, the tires are way safer, so something to really consider. Again, you can buy just rims from them. You can buy a rim and tire package. We just got the rims from them and ordered the tires through somebody else, had them mounted on here, and they worked out great. Number 6 question. Can you still use your dinette, or how much room is left since you switch your benches around? Well, the answer is yes, we sure can. So yeah, we still use it occasionally when it's raining outside, play cards at, or eat at, or whatever the case may be. But the big deal is, look at how much room it's created inside here. Let me get the camera and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, with it set up and without it set up. So this is what it is like when the dinette is set up in the booth, and you can see that there is still tons of floor space, easy to get around, tons of room to get in and around the table if you needed to. So it's still certainly functional. Could we use it as a bed? Probably not anymore. But again, we never used it for that in the first place. We've got the 2 bunks back here, obviously our bed in the front, and that's all we need. And this is what it's like. I know it's probably hard for you guys to see without the dinette. Now again, if you guys want to see how we switch these benches around to make a little bit more room on the floor here, there is a full video down below in the description. Make sure you check that out. Again, something I would definitely recommend, especially if the kids are a little bit grown up, you're not really needing all the space anymore or the bed. Again, tons of room in here, just makes a lot more space. Now, number 5 question also has to do with moving the benches over, and it's how did you address or fix the screw holes in the floor from where the bench used to be? The answer to that is simple. We didn't do anything. And you can hardly tell. I'll show you guys here in just a second. I suppose you could take a dab of, you know, gray silicone caulk or something and fill those, but I think we had a couple comments with people concerned with the floor getting water in it and lifting up. But let me show you what we got going on here. Again, we're a year into this. The floor is a little bit dirty now, but this is where the bench used to sit. Certainly no signs of anything pulling up. Really any holes in the floor. You can kind of see one here. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to pick that up or not, but not something that's really noticeable. So we didn't really address it at all. And if there's anything that we ever wanted to change or switch back, not hard, unbolt it here, put it back where it was, and it's back to stock. Number 4, what size generator do you guys use to power this while you're off-grid? Well, the answer to that's pretty simple. We haven't been off-grid once this season, and we really don't do it too much anymore. With the scooters, all the camera equipment, microphones, everything that needs to be charged, it really kind of makes it pretty difficult. And I'll be honest, I love AC. Now, a few years back, when we used to do off-grid camping all the time, we just used one of those cheap, I think at the time it was 400, it's probably around 600 or 700 now, cheap Craftsman 2500 watt power inverter generators. It did power the AC. You couldn't really run anything else while it was running. It did struggle to keep it warm, but enough to cool it down at night and make it sleepable in here. It would power lights and a coffee maker in the fridge with no issues whatsoever. So that's what I would recommend. I believe the one that we got was from Lowe's. We used it for years, 2-3 years, worry-free, never had any issues with it, so I guess I'd recommend it. Number 3, what kind of chemicals do you use in your black tank? The answer to that, none. Save your money. Contrary to popular belief, those chemicals that you guys are buying from Walmart or the RV store, they might be doing more damage than they are doing good. When you start introducing chemicals inside your black tank that kind of control waste and break it down, you've changed it from a holding tank to a septic tank. We've made a couple videos on this subject. Number 1, how to properly clean, maintain, and sanitize your black tanks to keep them smelling like new without using chemicals. And number 2, how to be in and out of the pumping station in under 5 minutes. Make sure you guys check out both of those in the description below. Tons of useful tips inside of them, things you probably did not know, and they're going to definitely save you some money. Number 2, how big is your shower and am I going to fit? Well, the answer to that is small. I'm 6'1" and cannot stand inside that shower without peeking my head through the skylight. Actually, to be honest with you, the whole bathroom in general really isn't the greatest setup. Not having a kitchen sink is one of the biggest drawbacks. Nothing like coming out here and trying to brush your teeth and spitting on a sink full of dishes. My wife, however, she loves the shower. She fits in there fine. She's not 6 foot tall. It certainly serves its purpose for her. It came in really handy in a pinch for me. But a bigger guy like myself, I stick up to the campground showers up there. Way more room to move around. I don't like getting tangled up in the wet shower curtain. Catch my drift. The number 1 question we get asked all the time, can I live in this thing full time? Well, again, guys, hate to disappoint, but I'm not going to be able to give you the answer on that one either. Now, I suppose you could live in this all year round, but that's going to be a question you got to ask yourself. There's a lot of factors you got to consider. Are you a single guy or gal? Do you have a family? Are you okay with the size? I don't know. I can tell you that if I were a full-time camper, and I'm not just talking about the weekends that we go every week, I'm talking living in it full-time, I don't think I'd be picking this particular unit to be calling home. Now don't get me wrong, they're great for little weekend trips or a family first starting out, or maybe you're upgrading from a pop-up, but I think everyday wear and tear on this unit would probably eat it alive. Now if you guys are looking to learn more information about a Coleman 17B or a 17R, or maybe you just want RV tips or maintenance in general, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below for me and ring that notification bell. Really helps a small channel like ours out. You guys are going to get a bunch of useful tips and helpful advice. You really can't go wrong. Doesn't cost you anything. Give it a whirl. As always, we appreciate you guys watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.